Anyway. Alright. The same effect with the chicks, by the way. The Beatles show up and the chicks love them. Like, the Beatles show up and the chicks go nuts again, right? They're like, ah, the Beatles, ah, right? But then they start doing drugs, and then they all grow handlebar mustaches. Anyway. This is Ringo, by the way. I don't have the album cover handy, so I'm not sure what order they're in. But like, all right, they all grow handlebar mustaches, and Paul grows a unibrow. Anyway, so they all start doing drugs, and then John realizes, this is John. John realizes that they're huge, that they're the biggest fucking thing in the universe, right? And he's talking to some chick at a party, right? And he's like, yeah, we're actually like the biggest thing in the universe. It's really kind of freaky, right? And then she kind of like misquotes him, and like I guess he doesn't understand that she's a journalist, and she's like, John Lennon says that he's bigger than Jesus, right? The thing is that it was true, The Beatles were bigger than Jesus. Jesus had just like been this impersonatable template that hadn't progressed in his continuity as a character since his inception, whereas the Beatles were actual people, and the girls went wild over them because they weren't just some sort of like non-progressing statue of a being who wasn't even real. So like trash. What happens is, yeah, it was an interesting little conveyance there. But so what happens is that these guys are doing all sorts of drugs, and they're singing about like metaphysical things, and Paul's singing about we'll get rid of his unibrow. Paul's singing about bubblegum and puppy dogs, and having a good time in the sun, whereas John is singing about not knowing what the fuck is going on because he's questioning things, and he's like, no, but we're immortal and stuff, and the people don't understand that there are problems with the universe, and Paul is like, hey, just chill out and just enjoy it for what it is, right? And then George is viewing these two guys, and he's like, I think John is more my speed, and Paul makes sense on a certain level, and then he's like, what about Ringo? And Ringo's just like, what? That's a band practice today, right? So Ringo's out there, and he's just like, whatever, I don't know, what's going on over here, right? And George is like, George is watching John and Paul and seeing the weird thing that's going on with them, just whatever, dude, just whatever, babe, just because I think Paul might say babe, right? Just hang out and have a good time. No, everything is weird, and the universe is all sorts of fucked up, and I have to delve further into all of these weirdo mysteries, right? So then what happens is that Jimi Hendrix is out there. It's an alright Jimi Hendrix likeness. It's not the best, but Jimi Hendrix is out there, right? And he's smoking weed too, right? And he's like, awesome, excellent, right? But then what happens is that he experiences the Pac-Man phenomenon, right? And it means the ghosts are coming in, right? Grr, we don't like you, Jimi Hendrix, right? And so Jimi Hendrix goes to the next level, apparently, or he goes to what some people would consider to be the next level of drug use. The next level of drug use, heroin, right? Excuse me, I have to do some stuff because the spirit world is full of assholes. All right, so Jimi Hendrix goes from weed to heroin, and then he dies because the spirits. What happens is that the spirits are able to diminish the effectiveness of marijuana because they're able to like move around a lot of souls, and they're able to generate dream world environments, and they're able to shuffle in like sensations and emotions from the dream world into the control world, and essentially just kill your high, right? So like Jimi Hendrix is like, fuck that, I gotta get stoned, you know, I gotta keep getting fucked up because it's good, right? And so what happens is that the ghosts keep trying to like defeat his ability to get high, and so he just keeps he keeps increasing his dosage until he dies, right? So Jimi Hendrix dies of a heroin overdose, right? Right? And so like you know, John survives this, and like you know, Janis Joplin also dies. I think she dies of a heroin overdose, I'm not sure. But like, so you have like contemporaries of the Beatles all doing drugs along with the Beatles and experiencing all this supernatural stuff, the Pac-Man phenomenon and other things, and then trying to like increase their intake of drugs and alcohol to beat these ghosts, but nothing's doing it, right? It takes more than just drugs to beat them. Like, there are these problems, and like no one can really understand how to defeat these spirits, so they just keep trying to increase their drug dosages, and they all just start dying, right? So what happens is John. Okay, I shouldn't draw him too evil. There's John. He's alright. Sometimes. John's alright. But the thing is that like there's so many people out there pulling a Jesus number on him. There are multitudes of Johns. Because John is a character that people love, and if people love John, then that means John should just be able to take over their lives and try to like interfere with their terminals and stuff. No. John is out there and he's a person, but he is a person just like Jimi Hendrix is a person. So what happens with John is that like he figures out all of this. He figures out a lot of stuff, and he battles the U.S. war machine with his "War is Over" campaign, right? And he's you know, apparently he got into heroin and stuff, but like he didn't overdose. He had Yoko, and like she was most likely informing him of like everything she knew about like Japanese spirits and the occult, and like you know, he powered through it, right? So then by like 1980, you know, John is still like pushing it forward, right? And like he releases a song, or he's about to release a song that says, in which he says that like all of these people are smoking marijuana, but nobody's getting high, right? And so like, so the thing is that like the ghosts did not like this, right? The ghosts don't like the fact that John is ruining their formula for, you know, for being big assholes. You know, people get to enjoy weed and be like, oh, weed is so good, and then they get to a point where they're you know, having it better than most of the spirits of the spirit world ever had it, and then the spirits of the spirit world come in and go, we hate you, we're gonna torture you, right? Don't worry, I have it all under control. I have it all under control, folks. Excuse me. I have it all. You know, it's hilarious. Anyway, so like so what happens is that like these guys contact this gentleman, you know, and go, we need you to kill this guy, right? So the spirits employ Mark David Chapman to take out John Lennon, because John Lennon is telling everyone how it all works, right? He's like, everybody is smoking marijuana, but no one is getting high, you know? That strange things are happening. So